Hello everyone, and welcome to CM50, the video edition. In this video, we'll be expanding on Unit 23 of CM50, which covers correlatives. So what are correlatives? Well, as mentioned on page 41, Unit 23.1, correlatives are word pairs that work together to show how two parts of a sentence are related. And in fact, that is literally what the word correlative means. Co means together, and of course, relative refers to being related. So how would this work in a sentence? We'll take this for example. This meal is tasty. We could also say this meal is healthy. But what if we wanted to link those two adjectives together? We could say this meal is not only tasty, but also healthy. So here the correlative is not only, but also. These two phrases work together as a pair to show how the rest of the sentence is related. So we can do this in Chinese. This meal, 这顿饭. So 这 means this, 顿 is the measure word for meals, and 饭 is meal. This meal, 这顿饭. We don't need the to be verb. Not only, 不但, tasty, 好吃, but also, 而且, healthy, 很健康. This meal is not only tasty, but also healthy. 这顿饭不但好吃，而且很健康. So the correlative here is 不但而且. Let's have a look at another example. She can not only speak Chinese, but also Japanese. 她不但会说中文，而且会说日语. Now, the thing to note here is that in the English, the verb speak appears only once. But this is not the case in Chinese. Both the auxiliary verb 会 and the main verb 说 must be repeated twice. 不但会说，而且会说. So it's not possible to say 他不但会说中文，而且日语. This is incorrect. The correct way is 他不但会说中文，而且会说日语. Another thing to note is that in the English, it's possible to change around the word order. Right now it says she can not only speak Chinese, but also Japanese. We could also say she can speak not only Chinese, but also Japanese. But we can't do this in a Chinese sentence. We could not say 他会说不但中文，而且会说日语. This is incorrect. In English, we can also say not only can she speak Chinese, but also Japanese. In Chinese, we cannot say 不但会她说中文，而且会说日语. This is also incorrect. So regardless of the word order in English, the only correct word order in Chinese is 她不但会说中文，而且会说日语. So that's a correlative 不但而且, meaning not only but also. Another correlative is 不是而是, meaning not one thing but rather another thing, not A but rather B. She is not a lawyer but rather a teacher. 她不是律师而是老师. Not A but rather B. 不是律师而是老师. Now, quite often in English, we don't really say but rather, we just say but. So, 不是而是 means not A but rather B, or simply not A but B. 不是 A 而是 B. Here's another example. I am not going to the library, but to the bank. 我不是去图书馆，而是去银行. And just to highlight again, in the English, the verb going only appears once. But in the Chinese, 去 appears twice. And this is the rule. We cannot say 我不是去图书馆而是银行. This is incorrect. We must repeat the verb. 我不是去图书馆而是去银行. So not A, but B, 不是而是. Another very common correlative, a pair of words that works together, is if, then. 如果就. Now here it must be stressed that while 如果 literally means if, 就 does not literally mean then. And this is highlighted on page 41, unit 23.4. Now what do we mean by this? Well, have a look at this sentence. Things were so much better back then. If we were to translate this sentence into Chinese, then would not be translated into 就. 1 minute it's hot, then it's cold. Again, then would not be translated into 就. I'm the oldest, then it's David. Again, if we were to translate this sentence, then would not get translated into 就. Because while 如果 literally means if, 就 does not literally mean then. Rather, it has the function of introducing the result of a particular condition. And those are the key words. An if-then sentence, 如果就 must have a condition, and it must have a result that comes from that condition. So if we go back to these sentences, things were so much better back then. 1 minute it's hot, then it's cold. I'm the oldest, then it's David. In those three sentences, there were no conditions and there were no results. But how about this sentence? If you study hard, then you will get good grades. So here there is a condition and there is a result. The condition is study hard, and the result is getting good grades. So if, then. If you study hard, condition, then you will get good grades, result. How would you say this in Chinese? If, 如果 you, 你 study hard, 努力学习. Actually, here we're saying hard study. 努力 is hard, 学习 study. Then, 就. And for now, we'll get rid of the second instance of you. Will, 会 get, 取得 good, 好 grades, 成绩. If you study hard, then you will get good grades. 如果你努力学习，就会取得好成绩. Now we just got rid of the second instance of you in Chinese. But if we were to bring it in, it wouldn't look like this. This would be incorrect. 如果你努力学习，就你会取得好成绩. This is incorrect. The correct way is 你就会取得好成绩. But as we know, if the subject is the same in both clauses, we can, and quite often do, omit it from the second clause. So it's more common to say 如果你努力学习，就会取得好成绩. Here's another example. If the weather is good, then we will go to the park. 如果天气好，我们就会去公园. So here the subject is different in both clauses. In the first one, it's the weather, 天气. In the second one, it's we, 我们. So we cannot omit either of those subjects. So that's 如果就, meaning if, then. Another correlative is 不管都, regardless of, still. Now back in Unit 20, we learned about the adverb 都 and that it means all, but it also has this extended meaning of still. In other words, regardless of the situation, we would still do something. or regardless of a situation, in all situations, we would still do something. Here's an example. Regardless of where you are, you must still study hard. 不管你在哪里，你都要努力学习. Now here, the subject is the same in both clauses, 你. So we could say, 不管在哪里，你都要努力学习. Or, 不管你在哪里，都要努力学习. So we can omit it from either one of the clauses. Here's another example. No matter what the weather is like, I will still go jogging. Or, in all weather conditions, I will go jogging. 不管天气怎么样，我都会去跑步. So here the subject is different in both clauses, so we cannot omit either one. So that's 不管都. Another common correlative is 因为所以 because so. Because she was ill, she didn't go to class. 因为她生病了，所以她没有去上课. Now in the English, we either say because something or so. So we don't combine the two in the same sentence. However, we can do so in the Chinese. 因为 and 所以 are both in the same sentence. 因为她生病了，所以她没有去上课. However, we can choose to omit either one. We could say 她生病了，所以她没有去上课. Or 因为她生病了，她没有去上课. Or we can have them both. 因为她生病了，所以她没有去上课. Also, the subject is the same in both clauses. So again, we can omit the subject from either clause. 因为生病了，所以她没有去上课. Or 因为她生病了，所以没有去上课. Here's another example. The weather was nice, so we went to the park. 因为天气好，所以我们去了公园. So that's 因为所以 meaning because so. Another common correlative, 虽然但是 meaning although but. The weather was bad, but we still decided to go to the park. 虽然天气不好，但是我们还决定去公园. Here's another example. Although he was tired, he continued working. 虽然他累了，但是他继续工作. So, 虽然但是 means although, but. And finally, 越 meaning the more A, the more B. 越 A, 越 B. The more she thought about it, the more angry she became. 她越想这件事，越生气. So, in other words, the more she thought about it, the angrier she became. It's also common to add 就 to the second clause. 她越想这件事，就越生气. So actually, the full structure is 越就越 越 A 就越 B. Here's another example. The more he explained, the more I understood. So here A is he explained and B is I understood. 他越解释，我就越明白. And we must follow this structure. So it would be incorrect to say 就越我明白, trying to follow the English structure. This is incorrect. So the only correct way is 他越解释，我就越明白. So this was an introduction to correlatives. And as always, more to come in the following units. See you next time.